Hi everyone, I'm Dr. John DeLynn. Today we're going to be answering the question, does the church engage in financial exploitation, financial manipulation, or some sort of financial dependence when it's requesting money from its members? So I thought it would be super cool to interview top-level Mormon church leaders and ask them, are you using cult-like techniques when you encourage your members to pay tithing? So let's begin. Mormon church leaders, here's my first question. Is the Mormon church money motivated at all?
We neither preach for hire nor divine for money.
So the Mormon church isn't about money. Got it. Next question. Is Jesus Christ's love and support conditional on the members paying money to the church or on tithing?
We follow the pattern of Paul and make the gospel of Christ without charge.
Perfect. So the gospel of Christ is without charge. I like where this is heading.
Lest we abuse or misuse the power the Lord has given us.
That would be bad.
Freely we have received and freely we give, for salvation is free.
Salvation is free. That pretty much covers it then. I think we're basically done here. I think I can go.
When attitudes or
Oh wait, you're not done?
When attitudes or priorities are fixed on the acquisition, use, or possession of property, we call that materialism.
So you're against the acquisition of property or money because that's materialism. So, just to be clear, should we even pay our tithing?
Tithing is a commandment.
Tithing is a commandment from God.
Oh, okay. Okay, tithing is a commandment. But salvation's still free, right?
Always be obedient to the authority.
Oh, that sounded a little scary.
Pay your tithing.
Pay your tithing monthly or weekly as you are paid.
Did he just say weekly?
Pay your tithes and offerings.
Pay tithe.
Pay your tithe.
Pay your tithes.
Pay your tithing.
I'm starting to detect a theme here.
Pay a full tithing.
Pay an honest tithe.
Pay a full and honest tithe.
Payment of offerings and tithes.
Pay a full tithing.
Pay tithes and offerings.
Pay our tithing with money.
Oh, with money.
Why don't you pay your tithing?
Why don't you pay your tithing?
Pay tithing with money.
They said money again. Is this a problem?
Perhaps all of the family could pay tithing together.
That sounds like fun.
The theme, more than anything, was the payment of tithing.
I'm starting to pick up on that. It's becoming very clear. Okay, hold on. So my first question for today is regarding tithing. Does the Mormon church teach its members that it has to pay tithing to be happy and healthy and joyful?
Full tithe payers will receive more joy and reward.
Tithing is designed for your eternal happiness and to help you become more like your Father in heaven.
Okay, so I need to tithe to be happy and to have real joy. Anything else?
Tithing brings a deep inward joy that can be won in no other way.
There is no other way.
Tithing is to protect us against hard times.
When men, women, and children pay their tithes and offerings, the Lord gives them wisdom.
Okay, so it makes us smarter.
It is a fact that we look better when we pay tithing.
Wait, what?
Some people say, I can't afford to pay tithing. Those who place their faith in the Lord's promises say, I can't afford not to pay my tithing.
Okay, so I can't afford not to pay tithing. I see.
Why do some say they cannot afford to pay tithing when just the reverse is true?
They cannot afford not to pay tithing.
They can't afford not to.
They pass a memo around or something? Okay, so are there any other important aspects of life that are dependent on paying tithing?
To be valiant in the testimony of Jesus is to pay our tithes and offerings.
Wait, I'm confused. I thought you just said that salvation was free. I think I have enough to answer this question. Let's go to the next one. I'm slightly afraid to ask this. Do you ever use exploitative language around tithing?
Teach our children to pay tithing even on their allowance or other income.
Okay.
I remember a faithful father in the Philippines paying his meager tithing to the bishop one Sunday and then leading his children home from church knowing full well that there was no food for them.
Wait, please don't tell me that you're saying that super poor people who are going hungry need to pay their tithing before they eat.
One day, during those difficult times, I heard my parents discussing whether they should pay tithing or buy food for the children. On Sunday, I followed my father to see what he was going to do. After our church meetings, I saw him take an envelope and put his tithing in it.
Because of their very low income,
they could not afford to feed their 8-year-old son. She gave all the money she had in her home to the bishop.
You pay tithing when your children need shoes.
During the Great Depression, members who paid their tithing were able to support their families more effectively than those who did not.
If a destitute family is faced with the decision of paying their tithing or eating, they should pay their tithing.
For many who live in conditions of material poverty, there may be no other way to escape their impoverishment than to give obedience to this law.
Is there a level of poverty so low that sacrifice should not be expected, or a family so destitute that paying tithing should cease to be required? Among those who do not sacrifice, one is the rich gluttonous man who won't, and the other is the poor destitute man who believes he can't.
Final question. What about using manipulative words to coerce people into paying tithing?
The Lord was grieved that only a small fraction of the members in their nations paid a full tithing. I warned that the Lord would withhold material and spiritual blessings when his covenant children were not keeping this vital commandment.
Did you just say that God makes poor countries poorer when the Mormons don't pay their tithing?
Tithe payers tended to keep their employment, enjoy good health, and be free from the most devastating effects of economic and spiritual depression.
Tithe payers are blessed because of their obedience.
Payment of our tithes and offerings can help us become independent.
If you will be honest with the Lord, paying your tithing, you will be blessed in dollars and cents.
So tithing will make us richer?
It will be the best investment you will ever make.
Tithe payers tended to keep their employment, enjoy good health, and be free from the most devastating effects of economic and spiritual depression.
Right after the first of the year, that man spent several days in the hospital with a high doctor bill, and he paid it. I'm not suggesting he was there because he didn't pay a full tithing, but I'm suggesting that evidence is there that he could have paid a full tithing.
They say we cut people off the church for not paying tithing. We never have yet, but they ought to be. God does not fellowship them.
I thought salvation was free.
Couples who have made their marriages priceless pay an honest tithing.
When I hear of a family breaking up, I question if the law of tithing has been observed.
Not a penny of tithing had he paid.
To those of you who presently are not obeying the law of tithing, I invite you to consider your ways and repent.
Some trifle with the Lord's divine law of tithing and choose to rob God of his tithing, and as a result, they are cursed with a curse.
For sure the Lord warned of the burning that would precede his second coming, and tithing seems to be the critical judgment criterion.
A further reward for paying tithing is a guarantee against being consumed in the burning.
Concerning those who pay their tithes, they shall not be burned.
He that is tithed shall not be burned.
Tithe payers shall not be burned.
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 Tithing will keep your name enrolled among the people of God and protect you in the day of vengeance and burning.
Okay, I think I got the answers I needed. Just to close, it's 2020. Mormons have been paying tithing now for well over a century. What is the church doing with its money? Feeding the poor? Widows? Providing homes to the homeless? Water? Sanitation? Disease? COVID-19? AIDS? Malaria?
And good evening. Thank you for joining us here at ABC4 News at 10. We first want to get to some breaking news that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has misused $100 billion in charitable donations.
Did they say 100 billion?
The former senior portfolio manager, David Nielsen, signed under penalty of perjury that the church's nonprofit tax-exempt status should be revoked. According to the Washington Post and Nielsen, the church typically brings in $7 billion in tithing annually. $6 billion of that is used for building upkeep and operating costs, etc. But the remaining $1 billion is transferred to this investment company called Ensign Peak Advisors, which is then put into investment portfolios to generate returns. Well, according to Nielsen, the church's investments at Ensign have grown from $12 billion in 1997 to more than $100 billion today.
Did that just say that the church has over $100 billion in financial reserves? So the church doesn't even need tithing?
Now, the complaint also clarifies that the fraction of the money Ensign sees has not directly funded, quote, religious, educational, or charitable activities for 22 years. Now, Nelson told the Washington Post that Ensign has used that money to help bail out a church-run insurance company.
Rescuing a failed insurance company?
And pumped $1.4 billion into the City Creek Shopping Center.
Did they just say a mall? A mall? Like with a Victoria's Secret and Rolex and Tiffany's? Cheesecake Factory?
We looked up the U.S. Internal Revenue Code, and it says a 501c3 must operate exclusively for religious, charitable, scientific, public safety, literary, or educational purposes, which the Washington Post article and the whistleblower says the church violated.
So let me get this straight. The church wants poor people without food or shoes or clothes to pay tithing so that the church can invest in malls and bail out failed insurance companies. So the church can purchase stock in Coca-Cola and Starbucks and Exxon and Walmart and Google and Amazon and Microsoft and Dow Chemical and Pfizer and municipal bonds and gobs of real estate. And by the way, didn't you say at the beginning that it was materialism to focus on the acquisition of real estate or property? Let's roll that tape one more time.
When attitudes or priorities are fixed on the acquisition, use, or possession of property, we call that materialism.
Materialism. To conclude today's presentation, I want to end with a quote and with a few simple, modest requests. Here's the quote. In 1907, LDS Church prophet, seer, and revelator Joseph F. Smith said in General Conference, "Furthermore, I want to say to you, we may not be able to reach it right away, but we expect to see the day when we will not have to ask you for $1 of donation for any purpose, except that which you volunteer to give of your own accord, because we will have tithes sufficient in the storehouse of the Lord to pay everything that is needful for the advancement of the kingdom of God." That was the quote. Here are a few final modest requests. To the current prophets, seers, revelators, and special witnesses of Christ who lead the LDS or Mormon Church. Number one, as special witnesses of Jesus Christ, you should know that Jesus Christ was a champion of the poor, not an exploiter or a manipulator of the poor. Consequently, I would ask you very politely to please stop using manipulative and exploitative language to your poor when asking for additional tithing. Also, please stop teaching your poor and your other members that their happiness, their good looks, their success, their marriages, their joy, and even their relationships with Christ are dependent upon giving you more money. You don't need more money. Poor people should probably keep their money. Poor people should probably spend their money on food before they give you more money so that you can bail out a failed insurance company or purchase a multi-billion-dollar mall. Priorities. Next, please stop teaching your members that they will burn in hell if they don't pay you tithing. I don't care if that's in the scriptures. That's a heinous and an evil teaching, and it needs to stop. Please stop excluding parents and other family members from the weddings of their own children if they're unable or unwilling to pay tithing. That's spiritual extortion, and it's wrong, and it needs to stop. Please let all family members and friends attend Mormon weddings under all circumstances, not just when requested. Now that you have over $120 billion in reserves, please make good on Joseph Fielding Smith's promise to stop asking your members for tithing. It is now a matter of public record that the interest that you make on your investments exceeds the total annual operational budget for the entire church by $1 to $2 billion. You do not need your members tithing anymore. So please make good on President Joseph Fielding Smith's promise and stop asking for more money. You don't need the money. You got plenty of money. And most importantly, please stop telling your super poor, who sometimes don't have food or shelter or clothing, to give you more money, especially when you live on 6-digit salaries, fly first class, have lifetime pensions, $1 million signing bonuses for apostles, vacation homes in Heber and Midway, and are able to send your children to BYU for free. Just stop it. It's enough. You've got enough. You have enough money. Thanks, everyone. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please click on the bell to be notified of other episodes. Please share this with as many people as possible. Please email us at understandmormonism@gmail.com with any suggestions or feedback or ideas. And please tune in again soon. Take care, everybody.